CRD 2.2, adding and subtracting polynomials. So now you know what a polynomial is, and in 2.2 you learn how to add and subtract them. In 2.3 you learn how to multiply them, and then in 2.4 you learn how to divide them. So adding and subtracting is pretty straightforward. You just have to worry a little bit about signs, that's all, but the adding is very simple. So I'm going to go through it with you, and hopefully this will be a quick video. Adding, okay, basically you want to line up things that have the same variable component. So x squared and x squared are like terms, x to the third and x to the third are like terms, but x to the third and x to the second are not like terms. So I can only combine the things that are like terms. So here I have a cubic 1, 2, 3, 4 term polynomial. Here I have a cubic 4 term polynomial. And if I'm going to add these two polynomials together, I'm going to line up the x to the thirds, the x to the seconds, the x's, and the constants. So 15 plus 6 is 21. They're both positive. 7x plus 3x is 10x. This is actually harder than it looks. X squared plus 5x squared is 6x squared. And on this side, it is 4x to the third. Notice how the exponent part stays exactly the same because I'm adding them. They're like terms. I had 3 of them, now I had 1 of them, so I have 4x to the thirds. So my final answer is still a cubic 4-term polynomial. Now, when you multiply exponents, remember you have to do some adding. You have to add the exponents. But when you're adding two things that are exactly the same, the variable component stays the same. Okay. Subtracting. Subtracting is a little bit trickier just because of signs. So the other thing is the wording in this book is a little funny, the way he does it. Subtract 10 from 25. Well, when you read that, people sometimes get mixed up with the order of which these things go in. So subtract 10 from 25. That means I'm starting with 25 and I'm going to subtract 10 from it and I'm going to get 15. Okay, so if I have these polynomials here and it says subtract 4x to the third plus 8x squared plus 3x plus 9 from 7x to the third plus 8x squared plus 3x plus 9, that means that this one's going to be on the top and this one will be on the bottom. Okay, now here's where it gets a little bit tricky. When you're subtracting something, you have to think about subtracting each and every single one of these terms. So what that means is you are subtracting 4x to the third, you're subtracting 8x squared, you're subtracting 3x, and you're subtracting 9. Oh, this is a weird one. So what that means is I actually do this. I make this plus, and then I make this negative, this negative, this negative, and this negative. So now it's like I've distributed the negative throughout the problem. But now I can just go back to my normal pen color and I can say, oh, all right, now I've got 7x to the third plus negative 4x to the third, which is that. 8x squared plus negative 8x squared, gone, gone, gone. My final answer is just 3x squared. Interesting. Okay, so now I have subtract 9x to the second plus 4xy minus 4y plus 2 from 7x to the third plus 8x squared plus 3xy plus 6. So I take my second polynomial, which is a cubic 4-term polynomial. I put it on the top. Oops. Then I put my second polynomial, which is a quadratic 4-term polynomial, on the bottom. Now, notice how I line up the things that are the like terms, the x squared and the x squared, the xy and the xy, the constants, but negative 4y right here does not have anything to match up with. Same with 7x to the third, doesn't have anything to match up with. So I did change the order a bit so that I could line everything up. Okay, so now I'm going to change my pen color, and I encourage you to use a different color pen, and a pen is okay too. And I'm subtracting, so I'm going to change this to plus, and then I'm going to change my signs because I have to distribute that negative throughout the problem. Now I go back to my regular pen color and I do 7x cubed. It has nothing to match up with, so I just have 7x cubed. I have 8x squared minus 9x squared, so I have negative 1x squared, or just negative x squared. Then I have positive 3xy plus negative 4xy. That gives me negative 1xy. 6 plus negative 2 is positive 4, and then I have positive 4y. And if I want to put this in descending order, which I didn't talk about in the last one, I want to do my largest x exponent first, then my next largest x exponent, then my next largest x exponent, and then these two can go in either order. I probably would do the 4y first. And that's my final answer. So, line up like terms, change signs, be careful with your signs. That's the biggest problem in this lesson, is being careful with your signs.